Good evening. Let's move on to the discussion for yesterday's questions. And the syllabus for today's discussion is institutional factors. And two questions we have seen for today's discussion. Question number one, discuss the recent changes brought about in the institutional framework of agriculture in India. So the question clearly mentions that it's the recent changes for the institutional framework. If you are speaking about the history of the initiative that is taken by the government, the answer does not address the questions. And also you have to speak for the institutional factors. One, you'll have to connect with respect to evaluating its impacts on the agrarian economy of the country. So economy wise, you'll have to speak with respect to it, all sense, right? 20 mark questions, so your introduction can be large. So for our understanding, institutional factors given in the syllabus is land holding, land tenure, and land reforms. Apart from that, you do have agriculture credit, insurance, agricultural extension, agricultural research and development. Within that, digital can be taken, schemes that has been brought in for the institutional framework can also be brought in, legal framework can also be brought in within this question. And the schemes, this has already been shared in the Telegram group of everything in geography. All the schemes has been shared, which has been categorized into it. So these are the recent schemes that has been brought in. Pradhan Mantri Kisan, 2019 it came. So all the schemes which has been mentioned, let's make it crisp. So we do have plenty of schemes. If you write these schemes now, this will be a very good GS answer, right? But to write it geography, you'll have to write much more than this particular thing, right? So to add on to it, how to bring agricultural economy of the country. For example, if the Kisan, Pradhan Mantri, any of this agricultural credit scheme, you can take it with respect to it, right? And speak about, we already do know in your notes that agricultural credit is not largely present in the central provinces of the country. It's not present in the northeastern part of the country. It's not present in the northwestern part, and then Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, those regions, credit is not largely available. So you can say that the government has brought in new schemes, something like Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana, increasing the MSP for Kharif and Rabi crops, PM Asha. So all this will be able to bring in more credit systems, availability of credit systems will be there. Kisan credit card will be, you can draw with respect to a map and then show the coastal regions where which can increase the credit card facilities, will increase the credit availability for the fisher folk communities and the fishery sectors. You can show with respect to the dryland regions of western and eastern Madhya Pradesh, eastern Maharashtra, Kathiawar and Kutch peninsulas of Gujarat, northwestern Rajasthan and Rajasthan regions, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar regions, where large amount of dairy farming by the small scale farmers and the woman-aided farmers, marginal farmers has been taking place. So draw map and say that these are the dryland regions. So agriculture will not provide throughout their employment. Dairy is the major employment throughout the year, where credit facilities are less. So the government has brought in with respect to credit facilities for these areas. So pick any of the two or three and then draw maps. For example, you can show with respect to coastal regions, and or else you can show the parts of eastern Maharashtra, northern Karnataka, Telangana, Gujarat regions, western and northern Madhya Pradesh, northern Rajasthan, all these pockets of land. You can show that these have been the areas of dairy, which has been not having a large amount of credit system, so it has been affected. And with respect to insurance, you can show the areas which has been largely affected by the weather-based insurance systems, cropping pattern that has been affected by the weather insurance, failure of crop, how this has been again increasing, risk has been reduced, so agricultural economy is being increased with respect to it. Sustainable agriculture, you can say that input cost is reduced, output cost has been increased. You can also add the yesterday's discussion on neem-coated urea scheme, which is increasing the input cost, reducing the input cost, increasing the output cost. So automatically farmer's income is getting increased with respect to it, right? And you can speak with respect to irrigation, where the dryland farming regions per crop and more crop, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Gram Sanchi Yojana, system of rice intensification, system of sugarcane intensification, drip irrigation, all those have been increasing the agricultural intensity of dryland farming regions, which is again increasing with respect to the agrarian economy. Digital technologies of use of digital technology in all form of value systems, value chain systems, adopt of drone technologies, which has been used in 2020 to reduce the locust attack in the 10 states of the country, ENAM initiative, which will enable a national agricultural market so that the crops better prices will be fixed for the crops. Crops will get good remunerative prices, quick identification of market which has a larger amount of demand and supply can be matched. So again, agrarian economy. And then say with respect to agroforestry systems, national bamboo, beekeeping, pulse villages, millets missions of Chhattisgarh and Odisha regions, government of India is coming up with a large amount of FPOs to enable the challenges which is existing with the cooperative farming to add more bargaining power to the farmers, to also increase with respect to the value addition in the farm produce and to increase more amount of money, right? So to conclude, you can say with respect to it, uh, these initiatives has been brought in by the government of India and by the various state governments with the objective of doubling the farmers' income, which has been initiated by the government of India, right? And always understand when it comes to Indian geography, there is no one answer, right? This is just a model framework has been provided. You can write even more better than what is the framework has been given. You can write even different can also be given. But in this question, no, these are the recent initiatives. These recent initiatives has to be kept in mind, and for that, geography has to be discussed. Okay. Question number 2: explain how the modernization of Indian agriculture is affected by unfavorable institutional factors. You'll have to speak about not productivity and all those things. Modernization is not taking place. Within the modernization, you can speak about multiple factors like productivity, economy is not increasing, high-tech agriculture, cash crop, all those can be there. Major point should be modernization, right? This modernization can be both infrastructure and institutional. But we are going to speak about the modernization in terms of how institutional factor is not favoring it. Unfavorable institutional factors, suitable examples. Again, these are the institutional factors largely take with respect to landholding. And we do know Kerala's landholding is less in terms of per capita landholding in the country. Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Kerala has a very less landholding. Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh has less landholding due to reallocation of land. Bihar and Uttar Pradesh has less amount of landholding due to high amount of populations. This is affecting, you can say that how this is affecting with respect to the productivity. If I have a more land holding, I will be investing large amount in the land in terms of technology, in terms of water resources, in terms of better seed varieties, in terms of large amount of nutrition supply will be provided by any kinds of fertilizers. Because of this is not being done, so productivity is being affected. You can say with respect to it, right? You can speak about land leasing and its problem that has been existing because of which farmers are not investing on the land. For example, drip irrigation has not been done, borewell irrigation has not been created, irrigation facilities are not being provided. Because of the irrigation facilities is not provided, then agriculture productivity or agriculture is not being modernized. You can also speak in terms of land leasing does not give the security of tenure to the tenant. So I am not bringing in any high-tech agricultural like greenhouse chambers, uh, new technologies in investment into that. So that's something like we discussed about drone usage that is not being taking place. So that can be done with respect to it. And within the land reforms, you can speak with respect to tenancy. We already discussed, and sealing is not being done. So there's a larger sections of marginalized and small woman-headed farmers, and also large amount of non agricultural landless agricultural labors has been available. Consultation and cooperatives is not being largely done with respect to croppings in agriculture, which affects again with respect to bargaining power, benefits of cooperating systems, enabling the risk, uh, value addition with agricultural technology. All this is not being done. So this affects with respect to it. So for this, you can speak with respect to how productivity is affected, mechanization is affected. That can be taken. This is the overall framework. Within this, speak a state. Speak with respect to Kerala, draw a map and speak about how this is not being done with respect to it. You can speak about Uttar Pradesh and Bihar and speak about how mechanization is not largely penetrated into the regions. You can speak about land leasing, how this is not done with respect to water sources creations in Telangana areas or Chhattisgarh regions. So you will be able to bring a larger perspective to any state. Take it notes from the map reading classes of us and then bring with respect to it, right? And agricultural credit is been acting as a major hindrance to certain states, which we discussed in the previous question. Also, especially to small and marginal farmers and woman-headed farmers, because of which small and marginal farmers are not able to move on to modern agriculture. Women farmers are not being able to enable credit as like a uh, farming headed by the men sex. So that is affecting with respect to again investments in the land. And you can speak about with respect to research and development. For example, mechanization as tractors are not available to the physiographically inaccessible regions like high terrain regions or specific crop resistance to drought or pest or a particular variety requirement crop is not being largely extended to backward regions or tribal regions in the country for the last few decades. So these are the major problems, how this has been affecting with respect to institutional factors. But to conclude, you can also speak with respect to certain points from earlier discussions can be taken. Though these are the problems that has been existing in institutional factors, the government of India and the various state governments and Ministry of Agriculture is focused on addressing these things through these schemes. So you conclude with only the heading of the scheme, not to go on and describing the scheme, right? And these are asked in 2 different years. So don't worry about it. You will not repeat the question also, right? This is one. And with respect to tomorrow's question, the question syllabus will be cropping pattern, agricultural productivity, and agricultural intensity. There are 3 questions, right? Any 2 questions, right? But question number 1 should be compulsory, right? 2 and 3, out of 2 and 3, you can take any, right? And I have picked the questions in a way that question should be generic in manner and should be providing some amount of challenge in writing so that our skill can be examined, right? Again, I go with respect to decoding, with respect to it, examine the ongoing process, present conditions. Agricultural diversification. In the class, we discussed what is agricultural diversification and its implications for food security in India, right? And speak about implications, positive and negative implications, if any is available, right? And then define agricultural intensity is being asked, not more than that. It's a 10-mark question, right? And bring out regional distribution of agricultural intensity in India. We have discussed with respect to it. Map, right, with respect to it. Discuss the methods of crop residue management. Only method has been asked, right? You will have to discuss various places, various to reduce pollutions. To specifically, it is been asked, not with respect to any other measures, right? So 3 questions. 2 has to be written, 1 is compulsory. You can have a choice between 2 and 3. We'll have a discussion tomorrow, right? Thank you. Again, I repeat with respect to one particular thing. This is only a model framework of it. Multiple ways the answers can be written. That is why in today's discussion, what we did is like we took the framework of answer, but wanted to discuss with multiple states, right? Rather than giving this state as an answer, right? Generate that particular skill, which is more important, right? Thank you.